Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I am currently on vacation, clearly. It is just gorgeous up here, but I went thrift shopping right before we came here, and I found a bag just full of yarn for only $6. And as soon as I locked eyes with that yarn, I just knew what I had to make, and I made this striped tank top. It is adorable. It is a perfect fit. It is so easy to make and to customize to your own measurements. It's actually one of the easier patterns I have here on my channel. So if you're a beginner crocheter, this is for you. It looks so much more advanced than it actually is. And my favorite thing about this shirt is definitely the fact that it's quite durable. It doesn't have thin straps, little ties, and it doesn't have an open back. And I have seen plenty of other people wearing these open back crochet tops and absolutely rocking it. But it's just not my style, and I also don't think it's everyone else's style. So that's why I have this shirt, is if you want something that's a little bit more modest, that has a closed back and is just a simple tank top that's also so adorable, then this is the shirt for you. So here's how you can make one for yourself. You are welcome to do whatever order of stripes that you want for this shirt. That will not mess up the pattern whatsoever. So here is a design for my last shirt, how I just did very quick, every 2 rows, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white. And then here's some other stripe patterns I want to do. So today I'm going to do this one here, but instead of the black, I'm going to use this darker pink. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my very first color, which is going to be this light pink here. And we're going to be making this shirt in 2 separate panels. I'm going to take my yarn, I'm going to cast on. I am using a 6mm hook with fairly thin yarn, the kind of yarn that typically requires about a 4mm hook. So I'm definitely over exaggerating with the hook size because I want a very light, flowy, airy looking shirt. So I'm making sure my hook is much bigger than what the yarn requires. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a chain for the first panel of my shirt. Okay, so here's the chain for the very start of my first panel. I ended up chaining 59 for mine. The way you can decide how long you want the chain to be so that the shirt will fit you perfectly is once I've made my chain, without stretching it, just holding it normal, I'm going to hold it right over my chest, and if this end and this end both fit snugly underneath your armpits and this just comfortably lays across your chest, then you know it is the perfect length, and then you can begin onto your shirt. So for me, that is 59 chains. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 3 more rows in this color with the single crochet. Again, you can decide for yourself how many rows you want of each color and how many stripes you want to make. But for this design, I will be doing 3 rows of single crochet. Okay, and now that I've reached the last row of this pink color, I'm going to go ahead and cast off. And then I'm going to bring in my next color, which is going to be this darker pink. But also when you're crocheting, especially with a thinner yarn, you may be able to notice that the stitches look different on different sides. So on this side, you can see it's much more closed the way they attach right here. And on this side, you can see the white stitches are more open, leaving more space for the blue to peek through. And so I always make sure I'm coming from the same way. That way each stripe looks the same and the right side of the stitches are all together. So that's just my little warning to you. Make sure you always start from the same side of your pattern. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do 2 rows of this darker pink color. I ended up altering the stripe pattern just a little bit, so if you wanted to follow along with the exact same number of stripes I'm doing, I did 6 rows of the light pink, 2 rows of dark pink, 2 rows of light pink, 2 rows of dark pink, and then I started over again with the 6 rows and then 2, 2, 2, and then 6, 2, 2, 2, all the way up to the top of my panel. So I have finished this very front part of my shirt, and I've measured it out to make sure I like the way it fits. Holding this top part here just sort of under my armpits, I then make sure that the bottom part reaches down to the length I want. And now that I'm sure this fits perfectly, we can begin sort of cinching in the top to turn it into the straps of our shirt. So I'm going to take my next colored stripe, which is going to be this pale pink here. So I'm just casting on that color, turning my work. And now I'm going to place a single crochet right into that first stitch, but the second stitch here I'm going to skip, and I'm going to place a single crochet into the 3rd stitch. So that's our very first increase there, and now I'm going to work my way all the way down this row with single crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and finish single crocheting almost the rest of this row, and I'll see you at the end. Alright, so I went ahead and placed a single crochet into every single stitch all the way along this row, leaving these last 2 stitches here. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that second to last stitch and just place a single crochet into the very last stitch of the row, creating our second decrease. So now we have a decrease in both the end of the row and in the start of the row, one on both sides of this row. So it is kind of hard to tell right now that we have a decrease, but we're going to continue into our next row and place some more decreases. That way you can see a definitive inward slope on the edges of your project. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn 1, chain 1, and turn my work. And now just like before, into that first stitch, I'm going to place a normal single crochet. And then I'm going to skip this second stitch, and now in the third stitch I'm going to place a single crochet, and then again I'm going to single crochet all the way down this row until I reach my last 2 stitches of the row. So now here at the end of the row, again I have these 2 stitches left, so I'm going to skip the second to last stitch and then just place a single crochet right into that last stitch. So there is our second decrease of the row. So then you're going to continue making these rows of decrease where you decrease 1 stitch in the beginning of this row and 1 stitch at the end of that row. And I'm going to continue making as many rows as I want until I feel like the top of my shirt is the width I would desire. So the way I measure that is I hold the section of this front panel that does not have the decrease sort of right under my armpits, and then this part here will slowly come up over my chest, and once it hits underneath my collarbone at the width I desire, that's when I will stop. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few more rows of decrease, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done with that. Here is the top of this panel for the shirt. As you can see, there's a clear decrease now. You can see it going in at a slope here, and I really liked the green shirt I'm currently wearing, so I kind of made sure that the width of this matched that shirt so it'd be a similar fit. I also added an additional 3 rows of this dark pink to the top of my shirt without any decrease because I already liked the width of the shirt. I just wanted the top to be a little bit taller, so that's why these are here. I ended up doing 10 rows of decrease, but you can do however many rows that you need for whatever fits you best. And then I also went ahead and I made our second panel. So you're going to make this second panel the exact same way as you made the first one, using the exact same stitch count. So I did the 59 stitches across, and I also did the exact same number of stripes in the same order. That way it lines up perfectly. I also did the exact same amount of decrease rows. So I have my 10 rows of decrease with my additional 3 rows of normal single crochet at the top. So these are 2 identical panels. And now I'm going to go ahead and weave in all of these loose ends. That way we can then sew the panels together. So I'm going to weave these in, and I'll see you once I'm done with that. Okay, so now that I have my 2 panels completely finished with all of the ends woven in, I placed them together, right sides facing together. With this project, both sides kind of look the same, so it doesn't really matter, but the 2 sides I like the best I am placing together. And I'm then going to go ahead and thread my needle with this solid light pink here, and starting at this very bottom part, I'm going to then insert my needle into that very first stitch on both sides of the panel, like so, and just pull it through. And I'm going to secure this shirt all the way up with these sort of wrap around stitches. So now that I've done that, I have a tail here at the end I'm going to weave in later, and then I'm going to go back around, insert my needle into that exact same stitch on the bottom, and then the one on the top, and pull that through, making sort of a wrap around stitch holding the 2 panels together. So now every single stitch all the way up this side is going to get these wraparound stitches. I like to go through each one of these stitches twice. So I'm going through once here, and then again I'm going to insert my needle through that exact same 2 stitches just to make sure it's super secure. I bring my needle through the same stitches twice before I move along to the next 2 stitches. And I'm just going to continue working my way all the way up this side of the shirt until I reach the top here where we began our decrease. So I'm going to stop right where the decrease started, which is right here on this pink stripe. I'm going to work my way all the way up along the side. As you can see on this side here, I worked my way all the way along the side here up until I started decreasing, because this is where our armhole is going to be. So I'm going to do that to this side as well, and I'll see you once I'm done stitching this side of the shirt. Now that I've stitched both sides all the way up to the reduction point at the top here, I'm going to go ahead and turn this right side out so we can see our right sides are facing out, and then you can see a much crisper edge here where we did the sewing. And I'm just going to go ahead now and try this on to make sure I like the way it fits. You may have to add more stitches to the top here, close it up a bit more, or take some of these stitches out in order to make it fit you best and to be comfortable underneath your arms and everything. But I really like the way this one fits, so I'm going to go ahead and now start adding the straps at the top of our shirt. So going up to the top here, I'm going to use whatever color I want to use for the straps. I'm going to use this lighter pink. And I'm actually going to reduce down to about a 4.25 millimeter hook for this. You can still use the bigger hook. I just like using a smaller one because it makes the straps denser and then they're less likely to stretch or just to look too thin and almost cheap. So I like to use a thinner hook when it comes to the straps. And now I'm just going to go to the very first corner here off to the left, and I'm going to insert my hook right into that stitch, and then I'm going to bring my yarn through. Okay, so now turning my work, I'm going to place a single crochet into the next 9 stitches. Now, depending on how small or wide you took the width to the top here, you may want to go in with more stitches because this is going to be where the strap starts, and then I'm going to reduce down and create a thinner strap. So looking at this one here, I think I'm even going to add more stitches to the side. That way when we add the other strap, they both kind of meet towards the middle here. So I think I'm going to go for about 12 stitches. You really just have to eyeball it and decide what would look best on your version of this shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and go 12 stitches in actually. So here's 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now I have 12 stitches across here. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and then turn my work. So now we're going to immediately make a reduction here. So into this first stitch, I'm placing a single crochet, and then I'm going to skip the second stitch, and into the third stitch, I'm placing a single crochet. I'm then going to single crochet all the way down the rest of this row, and I'm not doing a reduction on the other side. We're just going to leave that normal. So here we go, just all the way down this row. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And then this row we're just going to do completely normally, a full row of single crochets. So we should have 11 stitches now, or one less stitch than what you originally did. Go. I'm then going to chain 1, turn my work. And now we're going to do another reduction here. So into this first stitch, I'm placing a single crochet, and then again, I'm skipping that second stitch and then single crochet into the third. So I'm only reducing on the inside here. So if we look at our shirt, this is where the strap is. This side's going to stay nice and crisp and tall, and then this side is going to have a bit more of an angle with our reductions. So I'm only reducing on the inside portion of this row. And now I'm going to continue this row along with single crochets. And again, I turned my work, and now this row is going to be just normal single crochets all the way back. And then I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and I want the straps on this shirt to be a little bit thicker, so I'm going to just reduce one last time. And so I'm going to place a single crochet and then skip this stitch here. Therefore, I now have 9 stitches in my row, which is exactly what I'm going to use for the rest of the strap. So I'm going to continue just placing single crochets into this row back and forth until I feel like the strap is long enough. And as I go along, I will often try on the shirt and just make sure that the strap is not too long or too tight. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue doing rows of single crochet until I feel like the strap is long enough to comfortably sit over my shoulders and to hold the shirt up. So I'll see you once I'm at the end of this strap. I have now made the strap long enough. I'm leaving quite a long tail here because I'm going to use this to sew in the strap on the other side. And now I'm just casting off that color. Now we can go ahead and make the other strap. I always make both straps before I sew it to the other side. That way I can easily measure the length and make sure that both straps are even. So now for this one, I'm going back to the front of my shirt here, and I'm going to bring my pink yarn back. Now because I have 12 stitches on this side, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to count 12 stitches in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that 12th stitch, I'm inserting my hook. I'm going to pull my yarn through. And now we can begin making the strap. So this is exactly the same way that we just made the other strap. If you need help through this one, you can go back to that point where we made the first strap and follow along there. But I'm just going to be decreasing down to 9, making the full length of the strap. And then once I'm done making both straps, I'm going to go ahead and go to the back of my shirt here. I'm then just going to fold this over, making sure that there's no twists in the strap, and I'm going to line it up right with the edge here in the back. And then I just sew this together using the yarn I had cut earlier. I go ahead and weave in these last few loose ends, and that's all there's left to do to complete this shirt. And here is the finished shirt. I like this one so much. I honestly can't decide which one I like more, so I'll probably be wearing both of them all the time. If you did decide to make your own shirt and you post any pictures of it, then please tag me in any of those pictures that you post because I love to see what you guys end up making. It just makes my absolute day to see these patterns come to life out there in the real world. So if you do post anything, or if you just want to send me a picture on like Instagram or something, I would love to see that. And if you want to support me in any way, then please do so by subscribing to this channel. We are so close to our first 1,000 subscribers, which would be so crazy if we could reach that goal. Also, please give this video a like, comment down below, anything you feel like commenting, like what you want to see next, which shirt was your favorite, how much you want to come on vacation with me, because I mean, this view, people, this view, I like hit my arm on this 2 times now. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for your support, I hope you liked the way your shirt turned out, and I will see you again next week with another crochet tutorial. Have a wonderful summer, and also a wonderful 4th of July. I think that's happening soon, so have a great time. Bye.